Welcome back to the 25 days of puppy Christmas cards, where we're helping you decide what you're going to do for your Christmas cards this year with your pups. Now, this does work whether you have one or multiple puppies, and this one is all about bringing out the pink. I love a good pink Christmas and a good pink Christmas card. There are a number of different ways that you can be doing this, and it's actually really easy and accessible. So you can make this complicated and time intensive, and it will look amazing. But you can also make this incredibly simple and take literal seconds to set up and create. The 25 Days of Puppy Christmas Card series can be done with one or many dogs, created with a traditional camera or your phone, done in your house or outside, and range from elegant and refined to fun and quirky, so there's a fit for everyone. And don't forget, these photo shoot ideas also make for great social media advent calendars, even if they aren't all going to be used on your Christmas cards. If you're using a traditional camera, I recommend you set up a remote shutter release through a clicker or an app on your phone so you can take photos from where you're posed. If you're using your phone, I recommend you set it to cinematic video and take screenshots of the best frames after, since pups tend to move around a lot and you don't want to stress over missing the shot. Each of these episodes is designed for a specific card template that will link in the caption, but you can use this on whatever template works best for you. This card is all about bringing out the joy in Christmas, which is why we're making it pink and pretty and lovely and girly and glowy. I highly recommend that you are wearing either some type of sparkle or you go with some type of classic black look to go with the pink trees that you are using. And you're going to lean into working with a pink tree. Now, my original plan for this photo was to go a little more labor intensive. I have a really cute pastel pink tree. I have pink ornaments for it. I was going to put it behind me and take pictures with my dog and be in front of it, and you can do the works with that. You can go full out. You can go to the extent of having a pink Christmas tree and pink blankets on your couch and sitting on your couch with a tray of pink cookies and having your dog there, and they can be in a pink bandana or a pink sweater or nothing like that. They can just be in their normal fur. You can be all glittery. You can be pink if you want. I, again, recommend the sequins, but you can go with like a classic black. All of those things will look refined and elegant in these photos. But you also have the ability to make this even easier. So if you don't want to go all out, but you still want the girly pinkness of having a pink-inspired Christmas card, there's a very simple way to do it. And that is to get a smaller pink tree. So like I said, I have that beautiful pastel pink tree. I just got it out of storage and I haven't set it up for the year yet, but I'm really excited to. I could use that and I could move that closer to the camera. Or, and this is what I did, I had grabbed these pink tinsel trees. These were like $5 each at the store. I got this from the Dollar Tree. So if you have a Dollar Tree, they have these in their $5 section right now. They were $5 each. I got 2 of them. You can get as many as you're going to need to take up the space that you need. So if you're doing this with lots of dogs and you want things in the background, maybe you need a little more pink. If you are only holding up one dog or sitting with one dog or whatever it is you're doing and you just want a bit of pink, you don't have to have quite as many. So I want you to focus on this for a minute. Things in the background will look smaller. If you want to take up more space with less work, put those elements between you and the camera. It's going to have it in the foreground. Now, this adds depth to the images you're creating. It makes it look more lifestyle and less like I've set up a camera to take a photo. So that's a really cool way to think about this. And if you just want to take up space, so let's just say you don't even have to get your house ready for this one. If you have enough space with the tree, you can block things in the background. In fact, in my pictures, I had the couch in the background, but you couldn't see it because I had the trees up close. The trees took the space away. You could see a little bit behind it, but not a ton. So this is a really good option for you to move things up close. You can have things on both sides as if you were peeking through the Christmas trees. Whatever you want to do is going to work really well inside of your images. So you can take the time to decorate your space behind you, but you're going to need bigger, bolder, more things in the background if you want a pink background, or if you want to take less time and less effort, put things up close and shoot through them, and then just grab your pup and pose through there. If you don't have an elaborate Christmas setup, grab some tinsel trees in pink or just a small pink Christmas tree, set up your phone or your camera, and of course your light, and then you're just going to prop these up to eye level. So it's going to be where your head is going to be, and have that between you and the camera. So you want to be back here so that it is actually looking through this way. So this is your view of it. You're going to be standing behind the camera and the trees are going to be in between you and the camera source, giving you a really pretty pink Christmas atmosphere. So you can do this in a lot of different ways. You can sit down and pose next to your dog. You can hold your dog up, whatever's going to work best for you. My dog is I have 2 medium-sized dogs and a little dog. So when I picked Lucy up, she's getting to be around 35 pounds right now. She's almost full grown, and she did not want me to hold her. I was holding her. It was difficult because she had a lot of things to look at. She was trying to stay upright. She wasn't sitting in her normal position. She was kind of straight up and down, and I was holding her. She was very interested in the tree, so that made it a little more complicated for me. So if you have a dog that is not one that is going to focus on your camera and stay calm while you're holding them, sit on the ground. You can lower your camera. You can put the trees in front of it. I actually propped my trees up on a table and then boxes so that it was taller, because this is literally the tree that I used inside of this image, and I just moved it closer, but I had to get it to where I was standing, so I had to build that height up. So you can figure out what is ever going to work best for your dogs. And if you do things close up and shoot through it so you can just see you in the background, maybe have just like a blank background, basic background, empty wall, something like that's going to work well for you. You can do this outside. I recommend doing this inside. So decorate everything with your pinkness. And if you are doing more of the elements in the background, and you're going to like sit on your couch or be in the living room or decorating your pink tree, you're going to have a pulled back version of this. So you're going to have to decorate more and pay attention to those details. So whatever works best for you is what you then need to do to take your images. If you are going to be using a camera, use remote shutter release, or use an app that acts as a remote shutter release, so you can press the button on your phone and it will trigger your camera to take your pictures. If you're using your phone, set it to cinematic mode and take your screenshots later, because with my dog, she was looking around everywhere in this particular one. It made it really hard for me to get images. And if I was just trying to take images, if I was trying to run to hit the button on my phone, or if I was using a remote shutter release to click or release it, I would probably get very blurred pictures of my dog and probably not very many that I would be able to use. So taking the screenshots of the cinematic mode later is actually going to help you out quite a bit.
Your photo to Photoshop or whichever platform you're going to be using, and do your local retouches. If you need to sharpen eyes or your puppy's nose, you need to remove those dark circles under your eyes, which you're using the clone tool on 28% opacity as we have in other videos. You can go ahead and do that now. Now we're going to work on our colorization. So you're going to go down to your brightness and contrast panel, and you are going to bump up the brightness if needed and bump up the contrast. Now, because I used images, or I used things in the foreground here, I'm going to end up with a darker background because I did not light for that. Now, I could have put a light source. I could have made the whole thing pink. I could have made it brighter. I could have done all those things. I did not, so I am going to be doing that here inside of Photoshop. So on my background layer, I'm just going to click select subject. It's going to pick out me and my puppy. It's actually going to miss part of me, so I'm going to use my lasso tool to grab my sleeve there. But I also want to get the trees here. So I'm going to use my quick selection tool, and I'm just going to go ahead and draw a square over that. It's going to decide where those lines are, and it's going to grab the tree for me. So now I am highlighted, my puppy and the trees are going to be highlighted. I'm going to go ahead and I am actually going to duplicate that layer, and then I'm just going to put a layer mask over it. So turning that off, you can see how the background now magically disappears. Now there's a couple of different ways that I can handle this. I can go in and I can grab the brightness and contrast panel, and I can just bump up that brightness however much I want to or need to. I can change my contrast if I wanted, depending on what I'm going to need. I can also change the color of my background. We've talked about how to do this in other videos in this series, but you can do this lots of different ways. We're just going to go ahead and we are going to add a new layer. We're going to grab our paintbrush. And actually, you might want to grab your color picker tool and choose one of the colors from your pink tree, your pink background, or you can just go into your color slider here. You can grab whatever color pink you want. If you want a lighter pink, a darker pink, you're going to grab that brush and you're just going to paint it on a soft round brush, 100% opacity in the back, and you are just going to try to get as much of that as possible. Now this clearly looks very fake, so we're going to go over to our blend mode. We're going to go down from normal all the way down to color or to hue, depending on what we're going to need. If you have something that's too bright like this, you're just going to reduce that opacity until it looks a little more on the natural side. So now all of a sudden, we've got more of a pink color. If I don't like this pink color, now I can change where my color slider is going to be. So let's say I do want it a little more peach. It might actually come down to more of an orangey color, and I might add some of that in. So now it's a pink and gold card, right? So you can find something that's going to work best for you. Again, the color picker tool can help you to pick the exact color from the trees, from your decorations, whatever is going to work best from you. I'm going to go ahead and I'm actually going to add in a little bit of a gradient. So I'm going to add a light pink, and I'm just going to paint that in certain areas. I'm going to change my blend mode once again to color. I'm just going to tap this on in certain areas and reduce that opacity. So now we have a little bit of pink, a little bit of that gold. I'm going to lower the opacity on my paintbrush itself, and I'm going to be able to paint that in. So I've got a little bit of all of those things. And then if it's too dark in one area or another, I can put a layer mask on it. And again, on a low opacity brush, I can just tap off, because white is paint on, black is tap off. I am going to just tap off where it's too pink. If it went a little too intense, but the rest of it looks good, I can tame that down just a little bit so that it blends just a little bit more. This is actually pretty nice because it does give us that nice little color pop. If you need to then readjust your brightness or your contrast, this is where you do that, and you can go ahead and play with that until you're comfortable with what you've got. I usually like to, when I'm all done, go up to the very top of all my layers, add in one more brightness and contrast panel, and just bump up that contrast just a little bit so that it grounds everything that I have created. For the card, we're then going to add a very nostalgic feel with some vintage font Merry Christmas signage. You can say whatever you want, but you want to make sure you're focusing on those bright letters with that darker outline. And then you want some of those iconic, nostalgic, classic vibes with the little stars or the little flares that we're adding onto these. Swirls are also very important because we're embracing the pink and the happiness and the joy of Christmas with these cards.
With these cards, we are focusing on one single image. So you are picking the best of the best. Don't have too many. It will complicate your cards. And this is going to allow you to focus on something that's a little more on the nostalgic side, because we are bringing back kind of that retro feel with the pink trees and the pink vibes and that classic look. We want to make sure we have a nostalgic feel to our cards. So we're using that old-fashioned script that says Merry Christmas or something of the sort. And you are going to have space for your message as well, especially if you did the up-close version. That'll give you a lot of space to kind of write on your card or leave your message or whatever it happens to be. Then you will be able to bring that nostalgic feel back as you are sending these out to people. Now, if you have one or two that you just can't decide on, make two versions and send one to different people. So grandma might get one and your aunt might get a different version of that. That's totally up to you. But this is a really fun opportunity for you to bring out the girliness, bring out the happiness, bring out the pink in Christmas, and apply that to your Christmas cards to get the vibes out there in the world. Now follow along, because this is just the start of the 25 days of dog or puppy Christmas card ideas. We've got a whole bunch of them, ranging from the elegant and the refined to the quirky and fun, so that whether you have one dog or a lot of dogs, whether you have very simple, easy dogs to work with or very complicated and stressful dogs to work with, there's something for everybody to get your Christmas cards out this year. And the rest can be used as an advent calendar on your social media or really beautiful social media posts in the month of December. We've got a lot of really cool things coming your way, so hit that subscribe button. We've also got some really great videos to help you navigate the world of being a dog parent, from tips and tricks to fashion to training to making sure they're healthy and being very good at taking care of themselves and you taking care of them. We have lots of really cool videos coming, so we'll see you in the upcoming episodes.